Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Stella, and if you're just seeing my video for the very first time, you're highly welcome. Kindly subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification bell because I post sewing tutorials here. I also want to specially thank everyone that is already a member of this family. I appreciate you guys so much. Now let's jump right into what we have today. So we're going to be making a circle top, but this time around we'll be making a half circle top. So this is the fabric that we're working with, and I'll proceed to measure it. So I'll go ahead and place my tape on the fabric and I'll measure it. What I have here is 59.5 inches, so it's not up to 2 yards, but it's over 1.5, and I'll make use of it like that. So we will go ahead and fold the fabric into two first. So the very first step is to go ahead and fold the fabric into two like I'm doing. Now I will always recommend that you pin your fabric down as you fold. So this will ensure that it doesn't squeeze or shift as you go ahead with the cutting. So I'll go ahead and pin it down. Then we will fold again. Now, like I mentioned, the moment you pin down, you're sure that your fabric is stable. So I have pinned it down. Now we will need to fold it a second time. Remember, I said that we're making a half circle top. So I'll go ahead and raise the open side. So this side is a completely closed side and here is the open side. So I will lift the completely open side towards the completely closed side, just forming a triangle. So this is what I have now. Now this looks like a triangular shape, and I will also proceed to align all the edges because you need the edge, especially towards the completely closed side, you need that part to align. So I will pin this area down and we'll proceed. So here we have it. I have adjusted it and I have pinned it down. Now let's jump right into the actual drafting. So for this particular style, you only need 3 measurements. You need your bust round measurement, you need your shoulder width measurement, and you need the length of the top. Now let's begin. So we will start by marking the bust round measurement, and I'm working with a bust round of 38. So 38 inches divided by 4 will give us 9.5 inches. And I'll come in with my tape. Kindly pay attention to the placement because I'll be placing my tape from the completely closed side to the open side. Now, the quarter of our bust round, which is 9.5, I'll be adding 1 inch allowance to that. So that will give us a total of 10.5. Now I'll come in with my tape and I'll go ahead and look for where we can find 10.5 on this fabric. So I'll first place it here, and as you can see, what I have here is 9 inches. It's not up to 10.5. I'll shift the tape downwards and I have exactly 10.5 at this point. So I will come in with my chalk and I'll go ahead and rule a straight line at this point where we have the 10.5. Yeah. And here we have it. I have drawn the horizontal line across. Now let's go ahead and remeasure it, and I have my 10.5 exactly on this line. So the next thing we need to mark is the chest line, and I know a lot of people will say from this line go up by 4 inches, but I personally like to work with a standard measurement. Now you will go ahead and get your chest line, and we have a standard method for that, which is you go ahead and divide your bust round by 6 and you add 1.5 to that. So with this method you can make this top for anyone, and we're working with a bust round of 38. So 38 inches divided by 6 plus 1.5 will give us 7.8 inches. Now we need to divide this measurement into 2. So 7.8 inches divided by 2 will give us 3.9 inches. And I'll come in with my tape, place it on this line that we drew, and I'll mark 3.9 inches upward. I'll also repeat it somewhere here so that I can get a straight line across, and I will proceed to connect it. So this is what we have. Remember, I got the chest line measurement and I divided it by 2 and I simply marked it here. So let's proceed with the measurement. Now you're going to go ahead and divide your shoulder width by 4, and I'm working with a shoulder of 15. So 15 inches divided by 4 will give us 3.75 inches. So I'll come in with my tape. I'll place it from the completely closed side towards the open side, and I'll mark my 3.75 inches. Pay attention that all measurements for this top is from the completely closed side towards the open side. Now I'm adding ½ inch hemming allowance to this. So this is it. I marked a quarter of her shoulder width and I added ½ inch to it. Now I'll come in with my French curve and I'll use a slight curve to connect this downward. So I'm using a slight curve. Now if you make your curve deeper, a part of your bust is most likely going to be revealed, so you need this line to be just a slight curve, nothing too deep. And this is it. I have connected it. So let's continue. Moving on, we need to mark the neckline design. So at this point, you need to choose the style of neckline that you want. If you want a sweetheart, V-shape, or just a straight line, whichever design of neckline that you want, this is the time for you to choose it. But I'll leave mine like this for now. I will still reshape the neckline later. Now let's go ahead and mark the full length of the top. So I'll come in with my tape and I'll go ahead and place it here. So as you can see, the fabric is no longer extending all the way down. So I'll place my tape here and I'll measure to the remaining length that we have. And what I have there is 21.5 inches. So now whatever your length is, you need to remember that we reduced our chest line by 3.9 inches. And you know how we got that? I simply divided our bust round by 6 and we added 1.5. So for clarity, let me extend the tape outward by that 3.9 all the way to our 21.5. And what I have there is 25.4 inches. So this is the full length of the top. You remember I simply divided my bust round by 6 and I added 1.5, which we got the chest line to be 7.8. I went ahead to divide that 7.8 into 2 and we got 3.9. So we had earlier extended our tape outward by 3.9 and we marked it there. So with my tape on that 3.9 outward, I'll just take it down to our 21.5 inches. So in total, we have 25.4 inches as the full length of this top. Now that we have this clearly stated, I'll go ahead and just mark the rest of the measurement. So I'm simply placing my tape here and I'll just go ahead and mark 21.5 inches all through and we will continue.
Yeah.
So here we have it. I have marked the length of the top, which is 21.5 inches. Now, I like to use my French curve to just blend this line so that we can get an even curve. And this is not compulsory, it's entirely optional, but I just like to do it so that my curve can be even. So this is it. I have smoothened the edge of the top. So I'll just proceed to cut this out. And this is it. I have cut it out. I also cut out the armhole and the neckline. So here we have it. Now remember that here is the center, front and back, so you may want to notch it if you like. And I'll also go ahead and cut out this part. So we need both the front and the back to be completely separate. So I'll go ahead and just cut it open, and this is it. I have separated them. Now I'll proceed to take off my pins, and I'll also indicate the wrong side, because this particular fabric, the right side and the wrong side, they look the same. So I'll use my chalk to indicate the wrong side of the fabric, and I have done that. So finally, it's time for us to reshape the neckline. So from this center front, I'll come down by 1 inch, and I'm going to use a slight curve to connect it to the tip this way. So I'll just use a slight curve to connect it. I don't want to call that part the armhole. So this is it. I have connected it, and I'll go ahead and just cut it off. So this is it. Our top is ready. We have reshaped the neckline and we have cut it out. Now I'll go ahead and take off the rest of the pin. You guys know that I like to pin a lot. Now I'll go ahead and take off the pins, and I'll open it up So here we have it. You can see the shape of the neckline. Now, by the time we are done piping the neckline, the shape will change. It's not going to look exactly this way again. So now let's move over to measure the neckline and the armhole for the piping. Now I'll measure the neckline, and what I have there is 10 inches. So that simply means 10 inches for the front and 10 inches for the back, because they are both the same thing. So I'll be cutting two pieces of fabric for the piping. Now let's measure the strap and the armhole. So you remember that we extended 3.9 inches outward. So I also come in with my tape, placing 3.9 inches outside, and I will measure the rest of the armhole. And what I have here is 10.4 inches. So I'll be cutting two fabric for that. So we're cutting 10 inches for the neckline and 10.4 inches multiplied by 2 for the strap and the armhole. Now I will take us through the process of cutting a fabric on bias. Now whenever you hear cut on bias, it simply means for you to cut on the line of stretch of the fabric. So this is the remaining fabric that we have. So we're going to be cutting it on bias, and I've explained what it means. So I'll go ahead and fold it in form of a triangle this way. And the moment you do that, you will notice that the fabric will begin to stretch slightly. Now, if you open it up this way, you notice that it will not stretch at all. And the moment you fold it in form of a triangle, it begins to stretch. So this is the line of stretch of the fabric, which is called cutting on bias. So that's what it simply means. Now, I come here on my tape, and I want the width of the strap that I will cut out to be 1.5 inches, so that when I'm done folding and stitching, we'll be left with ½ inch. So I'll go ahead and measure 1.5 inches all through, and I'll cut up to 4 pieces. Remember, we're piping the neckline and for the shoulder and the strap. So I have it carefully marked. Now I'll proceed to just connect it using a straight line. I like to be definite with my measurements. So I have marked it, I have connected it. I'll proceed to cut this out. Now you need the length to be as long as 20 inches for the neckline piping, and the second piece to be as long as 21 inches for the strap and the armhole. So here we have it. I have cut it out, and I have 4 pieces here. So I will go ahead and start with the neckline. So pay attention. We are starting our piping from the neckline. Now I will go ahead and stitch from the wrong side towards the right side. So I'll take that again. I'm stitching from the wrong side of the fabric, facing the right side of the fabric. So I'll go ahead and just stitch it down at ½ inch and flip it to the right side. So this is it. I have done that. I have piped the neckline of the front and back alone. So this is it. Now we will go ahead and look at the strap and the armhole. So as you can see, I have it piped to the right side of the fabric. Now let's move over to the straps and the armhole. So we need to go back to that calculation again. Remember, we have 3.9 inches that we left out. Now with my tape extended outward at 3.9, I'll go ahead and measure the rest of the armhole. And what I have there is 9.4 inches. So 9.4 inches, we're going to be multiplying it by 2, and I have 18.8 inches there. I'll just round that up to 19 inches. Now, the remaining pieces of fabric that we cut out on bias, I'll go ahead and just measure 19 inches there, and I have it cut out already. And I have 2 of it as well. So the width is 1.5 inches and the length is 19 inches. Now I'll come in with our top, and we're going to pipe the armhole and the strap. So to pipe your armhole, you need to start from the very end of the armhole this way. Remember, I'm stitching from the wrong side of the fabric towards the right side. So I'll go ahead and place the facing on the top, and I'm going to stitch down on 0.5 inch. Now the moment I get here to this end of the armhole, I'll stop there and I'll get the remaining part. So I don't want to call it the back piece, because the front and the back is the same. So I'll come in with the other piece as well, and I will start from the armhole also. Now the moment I get to this point, I'll go ahead and just fold the rest of them, and that will become our strap. So it's actually that simple. So I will go ahead and just do this, and I will show us what it looks like. And here we have it. I have finished one strap. So let's look at it carefully. Now, I started the piping from the armhole, as you can see. All right. And I finished it up. Now, the width of the strap that we have left is 0.5 inch. So let's do this other armhole as well. Now, I have gone ahead to stitch down our bias strip on 1/2 inch, armhole to armhole. Now, whatever you have in the middle is your strap, which will rest on your shoulder. Now, I'll go ahead and turn it to the right side, and I will stitch it down at 0.5. But you need to notch. So notching at this point will help to ease the armhole. So it will eliminate every form of squeezing around the armhole. Now, I'll go ahead and repeat the same thing on this other side as well. This will only take care of every form of tension that will usually appear around there, especially when you pipe it. So I'm done with the notching. Now I will proceed to flip the facing to the right side of the fabric, and I'll go ahead and just fold it twice, and I'll stitch it down. I'll simply just stop stitch on it. So I'll run a straight stitch that will run from one armhole to the other armhole. So this is it. I'll go ahead and just do this, and I'll give the top a good press. So I'll show us what it looks like. Now this place, so this strap area is still the same process. You fold twice all through from one armhole to the other armhole. And here we have it. So I'm done with that. You can see how neat this is looking. And so this is it. I'll go ahead now and turn the top to the wrong side, and we're going to be stitching down on 1/2 inch. So you remember that we left 1 inch as our allowance. Now I'll be using 1/2 inch as the ease, and the remaining 1/2 inch will be the sewing allowance. So this is it. I'll go ahead and join it. And here we have it. I'm done with the top. This is a lovely top and a quick tutorial as well. Thank you guys for watching. Kindly give this video a thumbs up and share it with your sewing group mates. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Yeah.